Here we are, Bridge and Tacony. This is the Arsenal. I think it's the Frankfurt Arsenal is what it was originally called. Made weapons, hence the name Arsenal. Just paying attention to the road. I usually don't like scooting here. I don't like riding the scooter, or as I like to call it, L scooter. That means the scooter. I don't like going down this street because it's a pretty busy street, but they're doing construction, as you can see, at the Arsenal. And they have this wall. I think they're digging up the street here. It's a nightmare. Traffic's a nightmare. Well, not right now. It's Saturday afternoon. It's a Saturday sunset. And we're going for a scoot. And today, it's the day after the big wrestling match. I'm telling everybody I won because in the history of wrestling, a referee has never listened to a fan and reversed their decision, but they did that to me, Onslaught, the Good Doctor, and Dylan Mesh last night. But I still got a good head of hair. We're still in the fabulous hair era. Luckily for me, I was very sweaty during the match, and I screwed up the clippers. So I'm excited. Got good hair still. And I say I won. Anyway, this area, as you can tell, construction. This over here is I-95. I hear sometime in the future there's going to be an exit or an entrance to 95 somewhere around here. That excites me. Because now you either got to get off of Cotman Ave or Aramingo Ave. And it makes my life a living hell. Look at this. The wall to the Arsenal is getting repaired. There's a whole other portion getting repaired. They did tear down a good chunk of it, but now the Arsenal, it's no longer a military arsenal. That's why I'm walking through here. It's I think that is like a food storage place. Back there's a school, and that's where the old military stuff is. I think there's an oat milk company in there. There's the old rocks. They're in the middle of repairing some of this wall. They're ripping big chunks out where big pieces were missing or the mortar was bad. They've been fixing. You know, I'm sad to say, my English teacher watches this channel sometimes. I'm surprised, he can't, and he tells people, you know, the Philly Captain, that's my student. And I think he tells everybody he was my drama teacher, not my acting teacher. Or my drama teacher, not my English teacher. That kind of makes sense. Anyway, look, see, there's new mortar here. Let's get back on the scooter. Sunset. This is Philadelphia Unedited. We're going to go completely unedited. We're going to pop this. We're going to do a little ride down by the river. We're going down to the Frankfurt boat launch. We're going to see if there's chaos. Now, it was rainy today, so I'm not sure if there's going to be chaos afoot. But sometimes people go down here to this boat launch and they look at this whole wall getting repaired. It's good to see that they're repairing and not just knocking it down, right? But yeah, so sometimes you go down here and they'll have these things called boom parties where people just got gigantic speakers and they blast music. It's not funny. I mean, it doesn't really affect me because I'm deaf. This lookout tower had a tree growing through it not that long ago. Let me see. And now, look at this. You're missing it. I'm doing stunts right there. Yeah, this tower had like a tree growing through it. And they're fixing it up. Oh, look at this. Oh, there's the little tree. There's the old watchtower for the arsenal. It's getting repaired. They're fixing it up. There's some chunks of the wall. There was a wall that went down and all the way around. That got torn down. They're building something here. Good day to wear flip-flops. Well, actually, any day you can wear flip-flops is a good day. That's a better way to say it. Back on the scooter. Philadelphia Unedited. We got cameras back rolling. All right, this is the Dietz & Watson plant. And this Dietz & Watson is a lunch meat factory. They make ham, turkey. I like Bacon Day. Bacon Day is a fun day to come down here because the whole area smells like bacon. Capicola. You get it. Lunch meat. Cheese, pickles. And it's a pretty big factory here in the Delaware River. This whole space here, this factory was just built recently. And so I think this is a frozen food spot. Now, I've noticed these things have been going up all around the city. I saw another one of these. Like, it's a big freezer where they store food. And it might be because of that Amazon shopping. I know there's 2 or 3 warehouses over here that were just built. And I think there's 3 here. And then, oh shit, speed bump, we're dead. Ooh, Philadelphia Unedited. Yeah, over there, that's the Amazon warehouse that just got built. About 4 years ago, that whole parking lot where that Amazon is, Amazon warehouse is, there we're building a, oh, what was it? Oh, the Volkswagens, all the Volkswagens that were recalled a few years ago, all around the country, they were all being stored in that parking lot. And there were, oh God, thousands and thousands of these Volkswagens. And I think they did something, they lied about the fuel mileage on the diesel engine. And these were all these diesel Volkswagen bugs. I guess that was like 7 years ago. That's when I was first starting the channel. And now it's just a giant warehouse. And then there's another one beyond those trees. Oh, it looks beautiful today. So the park right now, the entrance right there, it's closed. 2 years ago, this park, you couldn't drive your car and park in here because it was closed because of boom parties. Local politicians and the police. When people come here and they have these giant speakers and they play this music and it has like bass and it's loud. It's very, very loud. And they come to the river and they play it and it echoes, and then people hear it, I think, from like 6 or 8 miles away from the Delaware River. There's a whole Facebook page dedicated to the boom parties. And I once went to a boom party. I didn't go to it. I heard the music and hopped on my bike and drove down and walked past it. And I walked by the speaker in my ear. It hurt for 6 months after that. It was always like, it was really, really loud. See, and they got the sign. No amplified sound. Gotta keep your dog on the leash. Sorry, Rick the puppy. And the hours are 8 to 8 for the boat launch. I don't even think the boat launch isn't even in the water. Over there, that's the Tacony Palmyra Bridge. This ain't too bad, right? Sometimes I get overwhelmed. I got anxiety problems. I worry myself to death. And I gotta come and just like look at the river for a little bit and reset. And I think that's what I'm doing right now. Doing good. After the like all the what do they call it? Adrenaline of the wrestling match and performing. The crash after the show's done. It's a little bit much. I gotta pay attention to that. Anyway, let's shut up. Who cares? There it is. The Tacony Palmyra. Sometimes I'll be honest with you, it's Philadelphia Unedited. Sometimes I feel like it's important whenever I'm having like a bad feeling or I'm feeling depressed, I should mention it because of the movie and how like it was about depression. And I just I don't want to make it seem like my life's all rainbows and sunshines and. Even like when something good happens, it can sometimes when you have mental issues, you can feel depressed. And I just try to bring it up because I talk to people when I'm not making these videos, and people always say they appreciate the mental health stuff. And I'm like, it's no big deal, right? Everybody has it. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people have it, or somebody that has it. So I just talk about it. So it just to make it normal, because sometimes people feel like it's awkward to talk about. I saw Jameer Nelson give a lecture about going to a therapist because he felt depressed. And I'm like, doesn't everybody know this already? Why are we having pro athletes having to talk about this? But I guess there's a stigma. Anyway, this is where I got the nickname Captain, right here on this dock. Probably on this dock, actually. They're not in the water right now, but this is where, back in 2012, I was going through a mental crisis, and I would find myself in this river a lot. And I had a kayak, and I would go kayaking right here at the Frankfort Creek. And one day I was walking on this dock, where that guy's fishing right now. I was walking on that dock, and I wasn't walking, I was kayaking, and I came in from the river, and I pulled up to the dock. And there was a man fishing, just like that man's fishing right now. And there was a guy, and he said to me, "Is that your vessel?" And I said, "What, this kayak?" And he said, "Yeah, that kayak. Is that kayak your vessel?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I guess so, right?" And he goes, "Well, that makes you the captain." And I said, "Yeah, I guess it does." And then I started walking up this ramp, up this little pier with the kayak above my head, and the guy, I was just walking. I didn't even look at him. I was just walking away. And he said, "See you later, Captain." I see you. But it just felt good. Like it felt like it belonged. I never had a nickname before. Always wanted a nickname. Alright, so this is the Delaware River Bike Trail. It's a trail. When I first moved to this area, it started here, and I think it went to the Tacony Palmyra Bridge, which isn't that far, maybe about a mile and a half, maybe, might not even be. And the city really has, for all this problems the city has, they've really been developing the parks and the trails and the playgrounds. They've really been renovating a lot of places. But now I'm thinking about it. I guess they have to renovate the playgrounds every 30 years, right? You can't have the same shit for 30 years. It starts falling apart. You got to get a Anyway, this trail has expanded greatly. This is Philadelphia Unedited. It's a good spot. There was a lot of industry back in this area. There still is industry back here. You got Dietz and Watson, you got whatever this place is. There's a car crushing place down there. The Distant Soul Company is still here to this day. Well, somewhat of the Distant Soul Company. I'll talk about them in a little bit. But once in a while, you'll see, I saw this like little old lady. She was combing through the beach. And she looks through the rocks. And sometimes when she's down here, I see her every so often. I haven't seen her in a while. But she'll find like old bottles or Arrowhead rocks. I guess this was Lenape area back in the day. And yeah, so what this was a few decades ago was a railroad track, and those were the lines for the railroad track. Oh, I'm glad I didn't bring Rick the puppy. Oh, the guy who Mathis Baldwin, the guy who started the Franklin Institute. Mathis Baldwin was this guy who also started Baldwin Locomotive. He had a mansion right here. Oh, this is nice. There you go. Mathis Baldwin. This dude's the best. The city of Boston was trying to get Ben Franklin dug up from his grave in Jesus Lord, in Philadelphia. So the city of Boston, there was a church. Well, he's still buried there. We got Ben still there because of Mathis. And there was a guy from Boston. He went to Philadelphia. He saw Ben Franklin's grave at Christ Church, and he realized, Christ Church Burial Ground, and he realized, whoa, this cemetery looks like garbage. It's a big brick wall. You can't even pay respect to Ben Franklin. The city of Boston is going to take Ben Franklin back, because that's where he's from, right? He's from Boston, and we're going to bury him in a place, and we're going to pay him proper respects. Mathis said, kiss my ass, Boston. You ain't doing that. And if you go to Ben Franklin's grave now, I don't know if he said kiss my ass exactly, but if you go to Ben Franklin's grave now, there's these brass or bronze, there's a bronze fence in that cemetery, and it's only at Ben Franklin's grave. Ooh. Gnats. The gnats are here, hun. And here's the Goodyear tires. Uh-oh. We got somebody dumping? What we doing, huh? I gotta pay attention now on the trail. So now people come down here. Once in a while you'll see dirt bikes and quads and scooters. Not scooters like this, but like, you know, little Vespas. You'll see people riding. Usually this trail is pretty it's pretty empty. And this is a Saturday afternoon, no, Saturday evening, after supper. It's an after supper scoop. Right, we got people sifting through the rocks. This is probably the smelliest part, maybe of the whole city. I don't know what's going on here. It doesn't smell bad today. Maybe because the rain happened, but whenever you come to this bridge, there's I always think of The Simpsons and the secret of the ooze whenever I look over here. This is the Wyomissing. Is it Wyomissing or Wissanoming? This is a boat. What the hell is this place called? I always get Wyomissing. The Wissanoming Boat Club? Yacht Club. Is it Yacht Club or Boat Club? The Coast Guard's here. Oh, it doesn't matter. There's a boat over here. Wissanoming Yacht Club. There's Steve the Pickle Man. Shit. I know. Oh, this is probably a bad idea. Let's go down the gravel road. Right here. Oh, it smells. Oh, I just inhaled a bunch of gnats in my nose because I was taking a good whiff of nature. Oh, it smells delightful here. Right here is the Tacony Palmyra Bridge. I think it cost $4 to go over the Tacony Palmyra Bridge. And all the other bridges in the area are $6. The problem with the Tacony Bridge is it occasionally opens. How exciting. You got a lot of people out here fishing. I never understood why people fish in the Delaware River because, like, honestly, the purpose of fishing to me is, you know, you get to get yourself a meal Like whenever I go fishing down Wildwood and I go in a party boat, I keep the fish. You know, get yourself a meal. Right here, made in Tacony. Right here in this spot, back where there's now, I think, a charter school. The William Penn statue that sits atop City Hall. It was made at the Tacony and Iron Metal Company back in 1889, right here. So you got the guy who saved Ben Franklin. He also, with Mathis Baldwin, started the science museum called the Franklin Institute, which is like, I guess he had a big thing about Ben Franklin. He's like, you know what? Not only are we going to keep Ben Franklin in Philadelphia, but I'm going to start a science museum that's still open to this day. It's called the Franklin Institute. When you go in, there's a big-ass statue of Ben Franklin. It's very exciting. So this is where the trail ended. Man, I would say 3 years ago, and then they recently built this trail. Uh-oh, we got teenagers. Everybody act cool. Oh man, I almost feel like it's summertime. The trees are all in bloom. There's not really many dead trees. That's good. Yeah, all this fence all along here is the distant sawmill. Matter of fact, here it is. The jerk off who graffitied all over the signs. Go to hell. 1840, this is Henry Diston. And back here was his sawmill. If you go down the street, I think right here, there's still a thing called the Diston Company that's still in this area. Most of this space, I think, is a junkyard now, where they crush cars. You ever see that, like in like every 80s action movie, the final fight scene was in the yard where they crush cars? Yeah, this is the old sawmill. They don't really use the brick portion. They use mostly the yard because the building looks like it's in pretty bad shape. And matter of fact, Henry Diston, he had this factory. I think he started the whole neighborhood of Tacony. There's a street, it's called Diston Street, and Henry Diston is buried at a cemetery called Laurel Hill Cemetery, and he's buried on a portion called Millionaires Row. And Diston is buried right across the way of Mathis Baldwin. Ain't that, there ain't nobody talking about this hot Philadelphia history besides me. I just connected the dots, cuz all this trail's new. We're going back. I feel like I can hunker down. I don't know if I feel like I can. I'd probably get murdered if you hunker down here. Got this whole space. Oh, I got like a little lookout. Oh, look at this. And right there, that's another one of those warehouses where they're going to be storing food. This space here used to be the old St. Vincent's orphanage. And that was knocked down recently. That was knocked down. Man, I feel like I was in the orphanage 3 years ago. Right before they knocked it down, I made a few videos on the grounds of the old orphanage. And they knocked it down to build more warehousing for food, because we're losing malls. If you haven't noticed, we're losing. If you haven't noticed, all the malls are going away. But in place of, oh, this is horrible. It's all muddy right here. In place of the malls, what we're getting is these big warehouses where they deliver the food from. So people's like, where are all the malls going? Well, they're not. They're becoming these big warehouses. And I think this is where the trail sort of ends. Ooh, this feels... I think you got jet skis. Wow, I can't believe people are jet skiing already. Late April. Late April. Oh, you got park rangers out. You got the Philadelphia Park Rangers. And what they do is they make sure nobody's playing the music loud. Nobody's barbecuing. Nobody's hunkering down. Yeah, this is the trail. Right. We're here. Okay? So the trail ends here. Or it goes down to here, it ends. But they're going to build it back here where it ends. And you're going to be able to go to Pennypack Park on the Delaware. And then go all the way up to the Glenford Mansion. And inside the Glenford Mansion, if you haven't been there, they have very weird hours. I think they're open like on Saturdays. Saturdays at like... You can look out for it if you want to see it. But they have the largest pipe organ inside a private residence. Philadelphia, we have the world's largest functioning pipe organ inside the Wanamaker building, formerly known as Macy's. The trail does go down here, but there's no... Oh, look, this does say Amazon. Dun, dun, dun. Inside the old orphanage. Yeah, this orphanage, if you look into it, there was some... it's like a dark past to the St. Vincent's. I think in like the 1920s, they did like experiments on kids. Like evil stuff, man. But I also, when I made the videos inside the orphanage, people, or I guess the orphans who lived in there, they actually spoke highly of their time inside the orphanage. There it is. Welcome to Amazon. They've been building all these warehouses in my neighborhood, and they never say Amazon when they're being built. Like the warehouse never says Amazon. It says something else. Like I think it says Blue Ridge Company or Blue Rock Company. And when this was being built, it just said links. It had nothing. It said nothing about Amazon. But we all knew it was Amazon. And everything they're building in my neighborhood looks just like this. So that's going to be Amazon. How exciting. Right down here, this is where I-95 collapsed. Was that last year or 2 years ago? Anyway, I-95 collapsed. The guy was driving a truck. Oh, I don't think we will ever find out what happened to that guy. Did he have a heart attack while driving? I mean, that happens. That's how the Macho Man died. He had a heart attack while driving. And this guy was driving his truck. And he was getting off the ramp at I-95. And boom, right into the wall. I-95 collapsed. The governor was here. It was a nightmare. It was the biggest news story in America for about 10 days. And then the governor came up with this brilliant idea. He was like, you know what we'll do? Why don't we put some rocks underneath this highway here? And then that way, they filled up underneath the highway with a big pile of rocks. It was contained. It was in like a fence. And that's how they kept the highway afloat. Now, they have these big rocks here, so if you're driving a truck, you won't hit the wall, you'll hit the rock. There you go. Not Dwayne Johnson, the actual boulder. There it is. How about the city with the bold choice of different rock colors in the formation there? Oh, this is a billboard paid for by Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts. And it says, Love MVP. It's also Love Hurts is like his logo. Oh, I hate scooting here. Where are we going? We're going to go down Tarsdale Ave. Man, even the railroad smells nice today. Everything's coming to life. So this is the neighborhood. I think I'm in Tacony. We're right past the Tacony-Palmyra Bridge, so that makes sense. This is the Krista Lewis Arboretum. Ooh, that's a tough word for me. My mouth don't work properly. Krista was a girl. She was murdered, I think, in the 90s. And it was a big news story. I forget where she was murdered. In the 90s, there was like every neighborhood had a kid who was murdered. My neighborhood, Port Richmond, we had Sean Daly. Fishtown had Freddie Adams. And Krista Lewis, I think she got into a fight. Man, it's been so long. Anyway, she passed away, and they named this little park in her honor. Krista Lewis Arboretum, and she passed away in 1996. It's a big news story. That's how you remember all those things. They're big news story. By the way, the houses in Tacony, they're like these giant houses. I don't know. That actually looks like it could be a single home still. So a lot of these places were built. Some of them are vacation homes because this was actually a nice spot near the river. You got all these trees. It's real beautiful. There wasn't, the highway bot nearby. And then I know Henry Diston sold a big chunk of land, or built a bunch of property on a big chunk of land for his workers to live in the sawmill. So that way they didn't have to go too far to work. Wasn't that nice of him? Go down this area, you see the railroad tracks there. That says St. Leo's, the heart of Tacony. And St. Leo's was a church that caught on fire about 5 years ago. This was the wall to St. Leo's, and this was the right here were the steps to the church. And then the altar was all the way back there. Over here was the convent, or the rectory. And fire started. There was some teenagers playing inside the church when they started a fire. You go in those two rooms right there. They are, I think they're part of the church. You can still, I'm surprised they didn't wall them up. And they're, I think people live here now. Yeah, people live here now. This was the old convent or rectory. And when the fire happened, they had to fix this whole building up. And here's the old St. Leo School. The school was built in 1906. Yeah, the church. Oh, what are we doing? Zoning notice. Here we are, filming location, movie, The Turnaround, only on Netflix. And this is the car wash where I washed my car. I washed it in this bay right here, and we washed that car. I'm going to tell you, we were here for 3 to 4 hours washing my car right here. And they did all these shots. There was one shot where the water's going down the drain and they filmed it. And then they had one time where they had the car and they had me with the hose here and I was shooting the car with water. And then there was one time where the guy with the camera guy, Dave, he was sitting on top of a van. They got a shot out and it was cold. And I didn't wash my car for almost like 9 months. after we shot that scene. We spent $50. Well, I didn't spend $50. I guess Breakwater Studios spent $50 in quarters washing my car. Got my produce. Yeah, when I was shopping for produce, it felt to me, well, maybe it's because it's Saturday. It just felt like the produce section was light. They had like tortilla shells in. I used to work in the supermarket industry, and like they had things, and they call it like filler, and like tortillas, you just put them anywhere and people grab them, you know. But yeah, it just felt like the produce section was light on produce. Maybe because it's the time of year. I don't buy produce too often. There we go. Oh, look at this guy. This guy's riding a bike with a fishing pole. I'm riding a scooter with produce. It's very exciting. Did you hit the like button? That lets YouTube know that you thought this was quality content. So what he does is he rides a scooter and he talks to himself. Oh, this is tough. This is very tough when you're riding on gravel. For all you scooter riders, if you're riding a scooter and it's over gravel, straight and steady is the way to go. Oh, see, this is the part I hate right here. It's so tight. I often think of my grandfather, who was in a wheelchair, when I go through spots where I'm like, it just seems like wheelchair people can't get through there. This is McGee's Pub. If you go down this street, there's a bus that goes down here. It's called the 73 bus. 73 bus. It goes from Bridge and Pratt to Richmond and Westmoreland. It's a very small bus route, but there are talks that the city, or not the city, SEPTA, which is the name of our public transportation system, SEPTA is talking about discontinuing not just the 73, but multiple bus lines. This is the old Rose Funeral Home. It's for sale now. And over here is Furco String Band. There you go. Oh, we got some mummer props. Got some old-fashioned mummer props just sitting. That's mummer history in the parking lot of Furco. Well, listen, I appreciate you joining me here on this scoot. Philadelphia Unedited. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. If you sign up for my Patreon, sometimes you get early previews. They had a week early preview of my Joey Marlino video. Right now, if you're a Patreon member, you have early access to my Allentown Scoot and Museum tour. See the spot where they hid the Liberty Bell back in 1777 in Allentown. Home of that Billy Joel song, which is really not about Allentown. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I'll say I'll with you later. Doodles!